here is 4 things to watch, and the obvious and all eyes are going to be, as they always are, on 32 different NFL quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks. His camps are all underway. Everybody watches the quarterback. But in particular, there's 2 things, I think, for Sam Darnold to watch. Number one, and I've heard this from a bunch of folks down there, number one is just the interaction in that room, the interaction on the field. You heard Jaron Reed last hour talk about the brotherhood, heard about the conversations they have. Put your phone down, talk to your teammate, be with your teammate. I said after the draft, I felt like this was one of the coolest, I used a John Schneider word, one of the coolest quarterback rooms in the league. And I'll stand by that. And everything that I've heard over the last couple months is they've actually gotten to know each other, as they're pushing each other, as they're working, that you could not find a better guy for Sam Darnold than Drew Lock. And then you add in Jalen Milroe, who is a terrific young guy that's a sponge wanting to learn everything, that's got a high work capacity. So just kind of as you're down there, not only watch Sam and what he's doing, just watch the interactions. Because that is and I was a part of a really special QB room, Lefko. I mean, I had one that I would argue and contend and could contend that was maybe from a talking standpoint and a relational standpoint is as cool a group ever. I mean, it was Dilfer and it was Hasselbeck and it was me and it was Jim Zoran. And that was, I mean, it just didn't feel like work. You just couldn't wait to get to practice and get to meetings and hang out and spend time together. And they got a pretty good thing going. So when you're watching Sam today, don't just watch him throw it. Watch that interaction. Watch some of the relationships being forged there with the 3 of them. It is really cool. That's number one. Number 2, watch the interchangeable defensive pieces. When we're out there, and I think we get to do a show a week from Thursday. They have a morning practice that day.
9:45, yeah?
Yep, so we're going to get a chance to do our show out there and hopefully talk to Coach Macdonald. And I know where my eyes are going to be. How are they using all of this different personnel? Where is Eman Worry? Where is Witherspoon? Where is Kobe Bryant? Where is Julian Love? Right? Just the way that they are putting those pieces together. And again, you heard Jaron Reed say to us last hour, year 1 to year 2, man, this is a deep playbook, and it is voluminous. I remember doing a Seattle Sea Dragons game for the vaunted XFL when it returned, and Jerry Glanville was coaching, I think it was a Tampa Bay team. And he was on the sidelines, and, when I get to do that work, Mike, I get so close. I'm literally standing right next to him. And he's the play caller defensively as well. And you know what he's calling? BTF. In his little walkie-talkie. BTF. BTF. Like every play, BTF. And finally I'm like, BTF. What is BTF? Well, you know what it is. Blitz the formation. Like every call was blitz the formation, blitz the formation. That was it. Like whatever they line up in, we've got, I don't know, a dozen different blitzes for here's empty, here's 1 back, here's 2x2, here's 3x1. It was blitz the formation. I mean, it was about as easy as it gets, as simple as it gets. Man-to-man, blitz the formation. That is not Mike Macdonald's playbook. That is not what they do in Seattle. It is deep. It forces a lot of communication. It forces a lot of intent, and you better know what you're doing. And you know what, man? Year 2, this should be so much more interchangeable with the different parts, making it really, really hard on an offense.
You know what's interesting? I was going to give you a breather. I know you want to keep rolling right into that number 3 and number 4.
That's okay.
Think I did want to kind of get into a little bit more about Mike Macdonald's impact. And we can get into this a little bit at 9:30. But with Seth Walder, where he ranked the rosters, the one kind of grace that he gave us, because I asked him, all right, well, what about coaching, the impact that coaching could have just not on a roster but on a team, and here's how he broke that down.
To me, this exercise is trying to take coaching out of it. And so what I think is interesting sometimes is where we look at the differences between like this roster ranking and maybe how you would expect the team to be. I believe that Macdonald does have the potential to be that sort of schematic advantage, right? It's like what on the offensive side of the ball Ben Johnson provided for Detroit, or what, say, Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay have provided for San Francisco and LA for a long time. I think that Macdonald has the potential to be that for Seattle. He was that in Baltimore. I think we have to still see him elevate it, but I think that you have that potential, and not every team necessarily has a place to have a coach that can really elevate a unit. I do think Macdonald's in the camp that can.
Oh, I think he is too.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any debate. I did see, I think it was the Athletic in the weeks of list season that thankfully will go away now as training camp begins. I think they listed McDonald's somewhere around like 18 or 19 as far as coaching ranks in all the NFL, and I thought that too was pretty criminally low. Just like I think the 20th roster is criminally low, but that's for everyone to judge. And now the Pats get to go on, and we get to play here sooner than later, and kind of shut up all that list stuff. So that's number one. I appreciate you throwing that in there. The QBs, the interactions. Number two, the interchangeable pieces defensively. Number three, and it's obvious, and it is why they were the 20th roster, and it's why everybody is down on the Seahawks nationally. It's because that offensive line still is a big, big question mark. But here's what I would ask of you when you're out there watching these guys. Watch them move. It should be like, man, it is the coolest thing. There's the best part of our high school football team out here, Mike, is the offensive line. Like, I think there is legitimately a kid, maybe two, at our high school that could play in the NFL. Christian McCaffrey did. Luke McCaffrey did. Roger Rosengarten went to Valor Christian High School. Like, there have been a bunch of pros that have come out of the school, and we have a few of them, and they're both offensive linemen, and they're phenomenal players, and they move, and they bury people, and they get them running. And when you watch this system and you watch them go, what you are going to see, unlike last year where they were in retreat mode a lot, where it was a lot of pass and it was a lot of shotgun and it was a lot of throwing, you're going to see an under center. We're going to move people, and you just kind of want to see them choreographed. You want to see it. I call it a symphony of destruction. I think I said that on a broadcast last year. Yeah.
An ominous ring to it. I like that.
Yeah. And when they're working together and they're moving, and these guys can move. Abe, when healthy, can move. Cross can move. Zabel can move. Olu is gonna be fighting, to try to keep up with those guys. The right guard situation, maybe not quite as athletic, a little bit more, strength. But if Bradford's going to make this team, he better be leaner and meaner and moving, because the rest of them are. So just kind of watch that movement and watch that symphony work together. And then if those are kind of three positives, three fun ones, I will give you one that the more I've thought about this, and I had some deep tub time last night, Lefko, thinking about this. Why? Why is everybody so down? If I'm going to be kind of critical of something and really have kind of a negative bent to it, what is it that I need to see this group be able to do? It's be able to strike some fear with their offense.
Okay.
It is the challenge. There have been some years, there have been some starts to training camp where I've sat at that picnic table and I've said, man, this is, and I've asked Pete about it and I asked John about it, like, this is the fastest team you've ever had. Right, man, you have put together some elite speed offensively, defensively, special teams. And for all the positives of, I think, movement up front, I think speed is a real question on the perimeter. Not a corner. Obviously, Woolen and Spoon can run like the wind, and but Griffin and Job don't run quite as well. One because of age and one stage, whatever. But speed offensively, who is going to threaten? Who is going to put fear in Woolen? Who's going to put fear in Spoon? Who's going to put fear in those safeties to stay over the top? This isn't training camp, but then obviously when you get to Vegas and the Chiefs and the practice sessions against Green Bay, to me, that is the one area that, because JSN is an awesome receiver, super strong, amazing body control, but he's not going to just blow by you. Cooper Kupp at this stage, heck, at any stage, he came out running 4.6, and that's why he was a third-round pick. He, too, has unbelievable feet, incredible agility, the highest football IQ you can have through his years of experience. But he doesn't have that run-by-you speed. That's certainly not Jake Bobo. That's not Derek Young. Is it Horton? When Horton was healthy, he can be a 4-4 guy. So he's somebody that I got an eye on, and obviously MVS is someone that can run. He's kind of DK light. But does he really do it with the pads on? Does he really strike that fear in their opponent? So that would be the one thing as we get into camp and into these games, and certainly over the course of the season, you've got to strike fear, right? You can't just be a Ben Williamson and put the ball in play and a punch and Judy and hit it the other way. You got to have some Cal Raleigh that puts some fear of God into that opponent. Like, I better be right. Otherwise, this thing can go right over my head and be difference makers.
We'll get to Blue 88 in just a second, but Brock, going back to that final point, for this offense and what we've heard and what we've seen Kubiak do in the past, is having a bona fide deep threat as important? Or can you get around that? Not having that. That's why you don't have DK Metcalf, right? Is this an offense that can now adjust and acclimate with someone like Elijah Arroyo instead of having that bona fide kind of mold of a deep threat receiver?
Is a home run hitter important?
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. So you can try to minimize it and say, no, we're going to play small ball and we're going to, control the ball and we're going to run the ball and we're going to do all that. And that's all fine. And that's terrific. But we know that there are games. We know there are plays. We know there are moments, just like as we watch baseball on a nightly basis where you just know, man, that 3-run home run, that's a difference maker. And you're right. You're going to have to get it from different parts of your lineup to kind of continue this analogy going. You're going to have to get it from Ken Walker. Right? When he's running that outside zone and he's able to put his foot in the ground, that backside cutoff by Gray Zabel because he's one step faster than what you've been is actually going to influence the backside linebacker or the safety enough, and Ken's going to be able to break that arm tackle and take it 60. Arroyo can go, and when you get him one-on-one and he catches that deep over and he breaks a tackle, unlike Noah Fant, he's got to be able then to go get you 10, 15, 20, 25 yards after that catch. So you're going to have to get it, no question, from some other spots. And Ken Walker's got that capability. You hope Arroyo has that capability. But it's going to take the sum of all of those parts rather than just one DK Metcalf that can run right by you.